Personal servants, what is it like to work for a billionaire? In a word? Surreal. I used to work for an extremely reclusive billionaire known as Wang. Many things that I have seen and done as part of my service for him are covered by legal documents, however there is still a lot that I can share. Only 1 or 2 pictures of him have ever been publicly published, and he has never given a personal statement. He maintained a zero social media presence, and would always grumble about the dependency of modern society on rapidly changing technology. He and his family always maintained a low profile, choosing to utilize public transport if they could even though they had extensive means of transportation. However, if he felt even the slightest inkling of a threat they would use another transportation method. The children attended a private school just out of the county. But, don't for a moment underestimate the man. He had an uncanny ability to read people, pick out things others would not see at first glance, and was always determined to understand and learn about the world around him. He would anonymously donate millions of dollars to organizations that did groundbreaking research into space. He played his cards close to the chest, and if he did not understand a theory or idea, he had no qualms about ringing the relevant party up to better understand the concept, something he did regularly with his firm which led to some talks behind his back in the firm. He always maintained a composure of calmness throughout even the most trying situations. There was a time when a client agreement between his company and the client had fallen through, and they only had a few hours to rehash all the details. Unfortunately, he had given the lead architect of the deal a few days off earlier in the week as the client company had, at first, shown a very positive outlook on the agreement. Wang knew that the architect was out deep in the countryside where he was helping with the after-party of his sister's wedding. Cell service was not great, and while the architect was informed of the situation, he was in no place to rehash a multi-million-dollar deal. So what was done, within a span of 1 hour, was a helicopter from a local tour agency, that always had one on standby, was chartered, sent out to the architect, brought him back and they worked on the deal. The deal eventually fell through as it was beyond saving if you asked me, and Wang felt extremely guilty for the inconvenience he caused the architect. As a form of thank you, he proceeded to pay for the sister's wedding and gave the architect another month off. The billionaire I worked for always attempted to remain frugal. He never owned any form of private transport like jets, helicopters, yachts, etc. He did have a small car collection but always donated money or reinvested it into the market. He never showed emotions, but you knew he was a caring individual. His neighbor's son had been involved in an extremely gruesome accident when his car was slammed by a truck. Knowing that financing the operation and hospital stress for the son would be too much for the mother, he quietly paid for the entire operation and set up a trust that would cover the living and medical treatment costs for that young man for the rest of his life. Wang passed away a few years ago, which is when I stopped working. His wife asked us aides if we would like to stay on, and while several did, I left to take care of my old mother. As a parting bonus, she gave the aides leaving a substantial monetary bonus that will be enough for the rest of my life if I live carefully. I haven't heard from them in a while, but their current aides say they are still the same down-to-earth people I had known them as. Wang was a fantastic individual. He was an avid learner, an individual who did whatever it took and, yet, still managed to keep the small things in life within his view. It gave me great pleasure to work for him, and I definitely miss him.